Hello and welcome to the show. Now, whether you're a seasoned property developer or a first-timer, buying a property at auction can be a really shrewd investment, but it's not easy money. You have to be prepared for all sorts of eventualities.
Yeah, so how do you get as much information as possible? Well, I think we can help you with that. You'd think we would have seen every kind of property going, but there's always a surprise around the corner.
So will we be surprised by the 3 properties that were sold at auction on today's show? Let's find out.
I'm confused by the cupboard space in Aberdare.
You got more cupboard space than the house.
It's a homecoming for Dion in Glasgow.
The east end of the city is an area I know pretty well because the home of Celtic Football Club is just over there.
And what the Dickens has got into Jacqui in Rochester.
So, should I expect great expectations?
All these properties have been sold at auction and we'll find out who bought them and what they paid for them. When they went under the hammer...
You bought it? Well done, thank you.
I'm headed to Aberdare, a town 20 miles northwest of Cardiff. During the 19th century, due to an abundance of arts, music and printing presses, Aberdare earned the nickname the Athens of Wales and was considered the cultural hub of the South Wales valleys.
Well, living by the side of a main road like this is probably not most people's cup of tea. Yes, noisy it is, for sure. However, the plus side is the prices of properties in these kind of locations is often devalued as a result. So I'm looking at a 2-bed mid-terrace with a guide price of £38,000 plus. So obviously double glazing is going to be a major important thing, and luckily it looks like the property's got it, which is good news. And actually, straight to the front door doesn't seem to be in too bad condition. It's obviously been recently redecorated, or relatively recently. It seems all right. You've got this living room area here, stairs up to your bedrooms there, a little sort of second dining room, I suppose, if you want to call it that there. That's OK. And it all starts going a bit wrong. Because, for a start, the floor, what's going on with that? Very uneven, and then you've got a sort of utility room there, and then a kitchen here, which is just, well... Oh, look, hello, a skylight. Somehow it doesn't help making this whole thing any better. It just doesn't work at all. So upstairs, what have we got? Well, the bathroom's a pleasant surprise. It's in reasonable condition. Yeah, not much to say about that. A small bedroom there. This is what it is. And this bedroom is a bit bigger, so that's good news. Again, the whole house not in bad condition overall. This has got a bit of cupboard space. We've got a bit of cupboard space. You got more cupboard space than the house. What I mean is, that actually sticks out further than the house does. What? Hang on a minute. You got that window there, but there is not part of the house. Really? What on earth is going on? Now, lots of properties in the valleys of Wales have very steep gardens. You know, being in valleys, that tends to happen. Retaining the garden, though, is often done better than this. Look, we've got all sorts of stuff going on here. I would be very worried about the stability long-term of this. Actually, withholding this kind of weight of soil takes a lot of block work. It takes a lot of big bags full of stuff, and it's a specialist job, and I really don't know how well that's been done. And there's more kind of conundrums going on here. Yeah, that confusion before about that corridor thing. Look out here. No, you can't see, look, really. Come, look down, look at that over there. Oh, right, I mean, that is not, I don't know whose that is, right? But I think that belongs to them. But then over there, look there, right, that bit there, I don't think that's actually, that's not actually ours. So our bit's that bit. That bit's somebody else's, that bit's probably somebody else's, and then you've got a window that overlooks ours, which is flying freehold. I'm sure a solicitor would sort this out in maybe a month, maybe 6.
We've invited along a local estate agent to see if he can tell us more about the area and to hear his thoughts on this property.
This property is very close to Aberdare town centre, and it's actually really well situated because you've got some really good facilities in the local area and good amenities as well. There's a new leisure centre that's just opened across the way, and that's just opposite the main town bus station.
Does he think the confusing layout and flying freehold situation could be a potential problem for a prospective buyer?
So there's a couple of interesting features with this property. The one main feature is that some of the actual property itself sits over next doors, and likewise their property sits over this boundary. So that basically is something for the buyer to look into, and a solicitor will help with that anyway. And it's quite a common feature up in the valleys anyway, with flying freeholds and floating freeholds.
What does he think are the main hurdles to overcome with this lot, and how's best to tackle them?
Because the garden is so steep, and there's a couple of issues with the walls around the actual garden, there's a couple of issues there that need to be sort of approached by the new owner. I think it needs to be tidied up quite dramatically, and one thing I would implement would be decking. That would really utilise the views that you have with the property itself over the roof line, and giving you storage underneath as well. I've seen that done in other properties, and it's a really great feature because it brings the garden then into a different, whole new light.
So what rental and sales figures would he place on this property once any renovation work has been carried out?
Once the property's finished and completed by the new owner and is ready for sale, I would estimate the market value being around £80,000. On the rental market, I think you'd be looking to achieve around £425 per calendar month.
Well, the house itself isn't too bad, to be fair, but of course, big issues, the garden and this wall. Would you really want to live with this? And also the noise from the traffic out the front. And of course, that issue with the flying freehold. Hopefully something your solicitor could sort out quite quickly. Still, remember the guide price, £38,000 plus. Let's see who wasn't put off when it was sold at auction.
Guide price 38, someone put me in at 38. I see 35, anyone put me in at 35? I've got 35, thank you, down there. I'll go in ones, have to go in ones, can I see 36? I've got 35.
The bidding tentatively crept up as 3 rival parties moved in on the lot. We rejoin at 43,500.
43 and a half. 44 and a half, madam. 44 and a half. 45, sir? No, shake your head this time. I've got 44 and a half. Lady sat down, so it's 44 and a half then for the first time. 44 and a half for the second time. It's against you all at 44 and a half. Third and final time. So congratulations, madam. I've forgotten what your number is, sorry. It's 70.
And the successful bidder who pinned the house down for 44,500 was costume designer and mother of 2 Fleur. I caught up with Fleur, who had brought along baby Oscar to assist her.
Fleur, good to meet you.
Hello.
Tell me why you wanted to buy this house.
Well, it was very cheap.
There is that.
That's why I liked the auction. I thought it didn't need that much work, and the area, it's okay.
Right, so are you buying it for you to live in, or are you buying it to rent out, or whatever?
To rent out.
To rent out?
Yeah.
OK. Is it something you do?
Well, sort of. This is my first proper rental, so to speak.
OK.
So I've got a holiday let at the coast as well.
OK, nice.
So that's quite nice. And then I've lived in houses, done them up, and then moved on to the next one until I found my dream house. So I'm done there now.
Oh, brilliant. So you've had lots of developing experience,
Yeah.
but this is the first sort of entry into investment property other than the holiday let.
Yeah, that's right.
Fantastic. Kitchen and the utility room first.
Yeah. So what I'm hoping to do is think about maybe opening that out more.
Ooh.
But then I sort of lose the sink area.
Right.
So it's sort of rethinking, but not too much. I don't want to do massive structural things.
That would be quite a big structural thing, wouldn't it?
And the roof, I think, needs some work on the extension to sort out.
Have you been up the back garden and looked down? It's like a real sort of like who owns what, and
Yeah,
it's a bit of a
very higgledy-piggledy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
what have you managed to find out?
Well, on the plans, it doesn't really have anything to show me where that is, so that's always helpful.
Yes, no, right,
So I know the garden bit's mine.
Yeah.
And upstairs is a weird cupboard which seems to go into the neighbours'.
Yeah, how does that work? What have they got on their side? They look like a bulge.
But that's what I was thinking. Normally that's next to a fireplace or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering whether that bulge upstairs
Don't you
is
want to
down
just go
here.
and knock on the door and ask them?
Yeah, I should do it. I might do that.
Yeah, well, what?
it's a
Can
good
I
idea.
want to see what's
Yeah.
inside this cupboard? So then the garden
Yes.
and the very large block
mound of
wall
earth behind
earth
it.
behind the block
Yes.
wall. At least the block wall looks fairly substantial, even if it doesn't look very pretty.
Fleur is hoping she won't have to dig out the back garden and rebuild the walls, and she'll be getting it checked over by a professional to make sure this isn't necessary. If all is well, she's planning on a straightforward tidy up and to add a nice patio, so tenants have an area where they can sit out and enjoy the views. She's set aside a budget of £5,000 for the project with an extra £10,000 contingency fund, just in case any structural issues are unearthed. I think baby Oscar approves of his mum's plan.
And tell me more about you.
I'm originally from Holland.
Oh, great.
From Amsterdam.
Right.
And did a fashion degree there.
Blimey.
But before that, I was living in England as a kid. So
OK.
Then I went back to Amsterdam to study, set up a business doing theatre costumes.
Oh, great.
And then moved back to England.
Right.
Because I missed it so much.
Aww.
So, yeah.
So carrying on doing that kind of work when you're not doing this, or what?
No, I'm just going to be doing this.
And family?
Well, I've got a partner and we've got a little baby Oscar.
Oh, brilliant.
With me.
And how old's baby Oscar?
He's nearly 5 months.
OK.
And I have a daughter, Amelia, who's 9.
Right.
So she's desperate to come and help.
Is she?
Yeah. So hopefully she's good at painting.
So what's the timescale?
3 to 6 months.
OK. Well, listen, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with it all.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing how you end up.
Thanks a lot.
Well, Fleur's certainly got a lot on her plate with little baby Oscar, young daughter, and now she's added this property as well, which I think might be slightly more work than she's anticipating. How will she get on? You can find out later in the show.
He would swear by his mouth almighty.
This is Glasgow, one of the great rock and roll cities in the UK. Artists such as Simple Minds, Wet 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 and Deacon Blue learnt their craft here and then went on to conquer the world.
This might not be the most glamorous area, but the east end of the city is an area I know pretty well but feel very comfortable in, because the home of Celtic Football Club is just over there, a short drive away. Now, I'm here to see a plot of land which is 2.6 hectares on this busy, noisy road, but only has a guide price of £8,000. Let's go and see what you get for your money.
So, how big is a hectare, I hear you shout? Well, a hectare is 10,000 square metres, or the rough equivalent of a football pitch. So this site is about 2.5 football pitches large. Now that's a little easier to visualise, isn't it?
Whenever you buy a plot of land, whether it's next door to a railway line or in the middle of a residential area, always check your title deeds. There may be a clause in place that says the seller may get a percentage of the profits once the land has been developed. There also may be a covenant which says you can't do anything until you pay a fee. So Dion's top tip, read the legal pack.
And the railway line may throw up other problems. Your title deeds may insist that whoever owns the railway has right of access across your land in order to carry out maintenance and repairs. A clause like that would certainly restrict your development options.
Everybody I know has to face their dreams. Everybody I know makes the same mistake.
I'm trying to picture what you could put here. You've got the railway line just there and an industrial estate just over there. Now, I find it hard to see any houses, any kind of residential property here at all. Well, I wouldn't want to live here anyway. So I think it's going to have to be something a bit more in keeping with its surroundings, which says to me a commercial unit of some sort. But whatever it is, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of elbow grease. Not for me.
The £8,000 guide price may be very eye-catching, but it wouldn't be a residential development that springs up here. We asked a commercial property expert to come along, assess the site and tell us what he thought.
I do think that the dimensions of it and the proximity to both the railway underpass and also the junction from the neighbouring property, access from the neighbouring property, might make it difficult to develop this smaller portion. There is a level issue as well coming onto the site. You clearly have to step up onto the platform that we're sitting on just now, and to level that up, you're going to lose quite a bit of developable land within an already small plot.
So if there was a commercial development here, how valuable could it be in terms of rental?
Taking account of the constraints of the site, in particular its dimensions, I think that most likely building size would be around 5,000 square feet. Placed towards the rear of the site, taking yard and car parking to the front, and obviously leaving access to the front as well. So in very broad terms, we're probably looking at a rental achievable of around £30,000 to £35,000 per annum.
And if that development was put on the resale market?
It's a difficult one because of the lack of examples that have really transacted in the market over the last few years. But there are some in nearby locations like Coatbridge where around £80 per square foot as a capital value has been achieved. So in those terms, £400,000.
As far as plots of land go, this isn't the most attractive, and there's a load of work that needs to be done here as well. Let's see who got it when he went under the hammer.
Anybody here, £5,000 to £10,000, gotta be worth 5. 4. 4 I've got, 5 anywhere. 5 here, 6. 6 I've got, 7. Take a half. Half I've got, 7. 7 and a half. That's 7,500. 8 on bid, 8 and a half. It's against you in the aisle, 8 and a half. 9 on bid, 9 and a half, 10, half. No, at £10,000. First time. Second time, are you done? Are you sure, sir? I'm selling this at £10,000. Well done, sir.
That successful bid of £10,000 was made by Judd. This is his first-time auction purchase, and you won't see many cheaper transactions on Homes Under the Hammer. Has he grabbed himself a bit of a bargain? Dion met him at the site for a chat.
Judd, nice to meet you, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What made you buy this plot of land?
Well, initially I was looking to buy land only because I was self-employed at a point where I was running mobile mechanics. So that was my background. And what I was looking to do was purchase land, build a garage on top of it, and run my own business, basically.
So what's your job, Judd? What do you do full-time?
Well, full-time, I'm currently a forklift engineer. Before that, I was actually working with motor vehicles. That was the original idea that I was looking to do, build a garage, make some money.
So you were actually forward planning while you were working?
Yes.
See, I like that, you
Yeah.
see, I like that. Were you looking for this size piece of land? Because you've started off quite big.
Yes, for me to acquire 2.5, no, 2.62 to be exact hectare is quite a bargain for the price I got it at. So,
Big start, hey?
yeah, big start, definitely.
We only have access to this part today. What
Okay.
about the other part?
The other part, I don't have plans as of yet for that. Still in the works, nothing pen to paper or anything. But it is residential on the south side of the railway, so maybe could go down residential route. Whereas this side, mainly commercial. I'll be looking for original plans to develop here rather than on the south side.
So, Judd, what are your plans for this part then?
I'm looking to try and develop it, try and get it tarmacked, just a little bit more neater and tidier than what we're seeing right now here. Build industrial units on it is the main objective, but till I get planning permission, I'm looking to try and get some revenue out of the land as well. And it would be more storage containers.
OK.
So I'll be looking to try and rent out a few of them. Yeah,
Clever.
Yeah.
A lot of work to be done.
Yes.
And Judd's background in forklift maintenance means that he's pretty adept at handling heavy plant machinery. That could come in handy when clearing and flattening the site. But first, he'll need to concentrate on obtaining planning permission.
So, Judd, if you do get planning for that unit,
yes,
would it be for your use or will you be renting it out?
A bit both, to be honest, because I do have that idea still in my head about having my own business running at the side as well. So if I can get enough units here, I could probably try and keep one for myself and rent the rest out as well and make a bit of extra cash on the side as well. So
and why not?
Exactly, that's it.
Right, you've got this big plot of land, you've got these big ideas.
Yes.
How much is all this going to cost you?
Well, I'm getting the quotes through. I'm looking to try and get the land, first of all, workable. I can try and get tarmacked, levelled off a bit so I can get that sorted out of the way. And then in time, due time, I can try and get the rest sorted out as well.
So within your head, what would your perfect budget be?
Well, for the storage containers that I'll be looking to try and get in first, I'll be looking about maybe 15 to about 20 grand.
And what kind of return are you looking for, John, on that 15 to 20 grand?
Well, I've worked out on a basis of even if I was to get £5,000 invested into storage containers and £1 grand a piece of the storage containers, I could probably rent them out and undercut the competition for like £100 per month and make money back within the year. Plus, I've been making extra cash on the side as well.
So you must have done lots of research into what can work.
Yes.
And have you found that's the best way to go?
Well, I have visited other sites as well. Have a look at basically what the competition is doing and see how they're doing it right and where I can improve on that as well. So.
OK. Yeah. And to get all this how you want it finished to your spec, how long is it all going to take?
Well, that's the thing. It could take a while. I have other commitments as well as this. I have obviously my own job as well.
OK.
I have a fiancée.
OK. Which takes up time?
Yeah, that's it.
Of course.
Yeah, that's it.
And rightly so.
Yes, so I've got other things in the works as well at the moment, but timescale-wise, it's still in the works.
Okay.
It's still a bit iffy.
OK, now, have you always wanted to get into property developing, into land, into redeveloping what you find?
I've got family in it, that's the thing. So I've got family that have property, and I could see how they're doing with the likes of their property and their land. So it's given me that kind of extra boost to try and go out and do things myself as well.
Oh, so you're seeing some of the family having a bit of success?
Yes, that's
making a few quid, you're thinking, I want a part of that?
Exactly, that's it. I want a piece of that.
Yeah, you want a piece of that. So you're going to continue, this is going to be your first project. I know you want to see how it goes.
Yes.
But is it something you want to continue to do? Do you want to make it a full-time job?
Well, yeah, it could be a full-time job. Eventually, at a point, I could hope to retire early on, that's the thing. So I don't know, but see, with the likes of buying the land, I bought the land, so I have many options. I can go down several different routes, whereas I'm not constrained to one route with just buying property as well. But in the future, you never know, I could buy property as well, so...
Listen, I wish you good luck.
Yeah.
Hope it all works out.
Yeah.
And get your hands dirty.
Oh, thank you.
Sounds like you know what you're talking about,
That's
kid.
how I want to do it. Cheers.
Cheers. I think Judd's very brave in taking on this piece of land, but I've got to say his initial idea of putting container units on here to be rented out, I think is spot on. What's not spot on, and I think he's kind of short of the mark, is his budget of 15 to 20 grand. I think that's going to be a little bit too small, but you can find out how he gets on later in the programme.
Coming up, Jacqui discovers some unappealing features in Rochester.
That is a sign of either previous damp or still issues.
And it sounds like Judd did get his hands dirty in Glasgow.
I had to dig my way in I then had to excavate most of the plot of land as well.
It's time to head back to Aberdare in Wales and this two-bed mid-terrace where I found myself pleasantly surprised.
And actually, straight to the front door doesn't even seem to be in too bad condition.
But it quickly turned to confusion when I ventured upstairs.
What? Hang on a minute. You've got that window there, but there is...
And things definitely took a turn for the worse when I got a glimpse of the garden.
Really?
But it didn't put off Fleur, who snapped up this property for just $44,500.
Well, it was very cheap.
There is that.
That's why I liked it at auction. I thought it didn't need that much work.
But it wasn't just Fleur who was hoping to get stuck into this property.
Well, I've got a partner, and we've got a little baby Oscar.
Oh, brilliant.
With me.
And how old's baby Oscar?
He's nearly 5 months.
OK.
And I have a daughter, Amelia, who's 9.
Right.
So she's desperate to come and help.
Is she?
Yeah, so hopefully she's good at painting.
The family had a budget of £5,000 and a timescale of 3 to 6 months. So has the project been a success? We're back, nearly 3 years later, to find out. Well, it looks like the exterior is still in the process of being painted. And inside, not much has changed, except for a fresh lick of paint. As for the kitchen, they've knocked a couple of walls down to create a more open space, and they've upgraded the roof, making it sloped to add height and bring in more light. Fleur thought about transforming the smaller reception room into a third bedroom, but this wasn't possible due to building regulations. They freshened up the bathroom by regrouting the tiles, and a new boiler has been installed. Upstairs, the bedrooms have also had a spruce up with fresh paint and new carpets. And as for that steep backyard, well, nothing much has changed as of yet. We rejoined Fleur and her daughter Amelia to find out more about how it's all gone.
So externally, we still need to paint the outside. We've done half of it, as you can see, and we've still got to paint around the windows and get it lovely in the front. And we're going to put up some low fencing and a gateway to keep it nice and cosy inside. And outside in the garden, we're going to put some AstroTurf and get rid of the weeds so that people can have some nice seating up there and a barbecue, hopefully.
That sounds like a great plan to me, and those finishing touches will make all the difference. As for the inside of the house, it's already looking amazing, especially that kitchen.
So we've gone for a really fresh finish in the house, trying to keep it bright, easy to maintain for people. The kitchen we wanted to keep clean, but also a nice modern feel so people could feel proud of living here.
The red kitchen that we have now, it used to be just an old rundown, kind of dark, gloomy thing. And there was also a brick wall, so we had to get Joe, our builder, in, and we had to get him to knock it down and plaster it all so it wouldn't leave any holes and any damage to the walls.
You know, it was a hard slog. When we took the roof off, there was about 4 roofs under there. So I'm quite impressed that we managed to do this ourselves as a family, and I think it's a great achievement.
It's safe to say that the family are happy with the way everything has turned out. But as the kitchen roof turned out to be a bigger job than expected, has this had an impact on their budget?
So our original budget was £5,000, but we found we had a lot more to do on the roof work in the kitchen, and that added to our budget, obviously. So I think all in all, we probably spent about £10,000.
OK, that's double what they'd hoped to spend. And you can tell just by how much Oscar has grown the extent of the delays. What caused such a significant hold-up on the project?
So the challenges we've had is that we had a newborn baby. So to bring him here, and Amelia, of course, was really difficult because they got very bored and it was all rubble everywhere. So we came over after work and in weekends when we could. And then, of course, other life things. And I also started my own business. And we've also bought another property. So we've been quite busy trying to juggle everything. So we're really pleased to come at the end of 3 years, I think, now, which is a pretty long time for not a lot of work. But we've loved every minute of doing it, and it was just a great learning curve.
Well, that's the most important thing. Fleur still plans to rent out this property, but will the valuations from a local estate agent change her mind? We've invited back the agent from our first visit to see what he makes of the renovation.
This is my second time at the property, and what a transformation it's been. It's really totally different to the first time I was here. It's really nicely presented. It's ready to move into.
Does the agent see any negatives?
There's a few little snags left outside, painting, a few little things inside, but nothing too drastic. And I think once that is done, it's then ready for market, and then it's going to be a fantastic purchase for somebody or a rental for somebody.
That's some great feedback from the agent. So what does he think the potential returns could be?
If I was to put this house on the open market for resale, I'd be expecting to achieve around £85,000 to £90,000 on the open market.
Better than we thought, isn't it?
This would give Fleur a pre-tax profit of between £30,000 and £35,500. But will she still be smiling when she hears the rental figures?
If this property was to go onto the rental market, I'd be looking to expect anything around £475 per calendar month.
It's a little bit lower than an estimate we got somewhere else. So, you know, I'll have a good look at that to see. But as the resale price is good, we might even put it back on the market.
Maybe not the rental figure Fleur was hoping for, but that still equates to a healthy yield of 10.4%. And the sales figure has definitely given her something to think about. Amelia, however, has other ideas.
Well, I think we should just let it. I don't think we should really sell it because, say if Oscar or I, we go to university near Aberdare, we can have somewhere to stay without having to let a house out.
Oh, good idea.
Rochester is one of the 5 Medway towns in Kent. The town boasts many historic buildings, including an imposing castle that has a complex history of destruction and rebuilding. And a 50-minute walk away, a slightly smaller renovation project was up for auction.
I'm not far from the centre of Rochester with all its shops, bars and restaurants. Plus, its nearby train station will get you into London King's Cross in 24 minutes. So it's a handy commuter town. But this town has lots of character and history in its own right. They have a strong association with Charles Dickens. In fact, every year they hold a Dickens festival right here in Rochester. But today, I'm here to see an end-of-terrace 2-bed property which went to auction with a guide price of £170,000 to £180,000. So, should I expect great expectations? Judging by the front, I'm not too sure. Let's go inside and find out more. Oh, so off the street and straight into this first main room. Not a bad size. Don't like all of this. If that could be moved, because aesthetically it's not very pleasing. And look, the size of these windows. They're huge. What I would do is completely change them, maybe in keeping with the rest of the houses on the street. Why not make them into beautiful bay windows? But then I've also spotted, look at this, yeah. I can see there's peeling. That's not a good sign. But all in all, not bad. Let's have a look at it a bit more. So through this little space here, stairs going up to the first floor. We'll have a look at that in a bit. Into the second room. Not bad again. But look at this. Carrying on the theme of all this sort of mould and damp. And look, I mean, literally, that is crumbled away.
It's a bit of a worrying start to find 2 obvious areas of damp that have probably been there for some time.
Stick around and watch me fall apart. Watch me fall apart. Watch me fall apart.
The double glazing does look pretty new, which could mean the damp has been caused by condensation due to a lack of airflow. But more investigation is needed. The kitchen at the back has a decent amount of breathing space but needs to be modernised. You could think about opening it into the second reception room to create an open-plan kitchen diner.
So upstairs, and we have 2 bedrooms. One to the front, double glazed, really good size, and then into the second room. Again, a nice size. What's not so good is I can see still here signs of damp and mould. You need to get that looked at. And into bathroom. So that means, hold on, you'd have to walk through this bedroom to get into the bathroom. Could the bathroom be moved? Could the layout change up here?
The easiest way to solve the bathroom access issue is to create a corridor that would lead directly along to the stairs. It means your second bedroom will lose space, but whoever is sleeping there won't be disturbed if anyone else wants to use the loo in the middle of the night. If you're taking away space from up here, could you add some outside?
Now, I happen to know that back in the day, this property used to be a greengrocer's, and this was the cold storeroom. But it's not fit for purpose these days. It's pretty big, actually. But it got me thinking, could there be potential to create more living space within the property? Perhaps this outbuilding could be made into a bedroom with an ensuite. Lots of creative options here.
There would be quite a bit of serious building work needed to create access to this outbuilding from the house. Not forgetting you'd need to insulate it and safely remove what looks likely to be an asbestos roof. Would it be worth all the hassle to create that extra bedroom? We've asked along a local estate agent to find out what he thinks.
In terms of regenerating the property, you'd be looking at your standard recarpeting, repainting the walls, maybe replastering them with a brand new kitchen and a brand new bathroom. And it's primed for extension, whether that be up or out. Just ensure that it's 3 separate bedrooms rather than a 3rd bedroom off of the second, because that will affect the values that you do achieve.
And what could those potential values be post-renovation?
As is, if you was to refurbish the property and put it on the market for rent, you'd be looking around £900 per calendar month, and for resale value, you'd be looking around £230,000. If you was to convert it into a 3-bedroom property, you'd be looking at a resale value of £240,000 and a rental market value of £925 per calendar month.
Well, it might be a bleak house now that has fallen on hard times, but it's a definite project. And remember, we're in a good location here. All in all, lots of potential. Let's see who wanted to take this one on when it went under the hammer.
This lot was sold at an online property auction.
Sold. Well done.
And the successful bidders who bagged the place for £175,000 were brothers Andy and Matt. Matt met Jacqui at the property to tell her more about their auction purchase.
Matt, it's really lovely to meet you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
What made you choose this one?
Well, I live a few streets away, first of all, so that's handy. But we've been looking for a 2-bed in the area, and this is 10 minutes from the high street. It's 15 minutes from the UCA campus as well, because we're looking at student lets. So it's just ticked a load of boxes. But yeah, being down the road meant I can come down and have a sneaky look pre-auction and make sure it was all right.
So what was it like at the auction for you?
Yeah, seeing the timer tick down to like the winning bids was a moment I won't forget, so that was pretty cool.
Were you on your own?
I was, yeah, but I had my brother on the phone. He's going to be a living builder, which he's agreed with, so that's good.
Oh, he's agreed to it. I was just going to say,
Yeah.
does he actually know?
Yeah.
What's your role?
Project manager, interior designer as well.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'll get on the tools as well, don't worry. Don't worry.
Very good. And talking of tools, there's a lot of scope there. What are the plans for this property then?
So we'll either do a 3-bed, 2-bath family let, or we're looking at doing a HMO for students. So that would be a 4-bed, 4-bath. So, and we'll convert the outbuilding for that.
OK.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I looked at that outbuilding and I could sort of see it like as a bedroom, maybe with an ensuite in there.
Yeah, that's the one.
And then, so upstairs, obviously that bathroom, which is massive, but then you have to go through the bedroom to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, so we'll put a stud up and we'll have a corridor to the end room. So if we do family let, that will be a bedroom. If it's student, then that'll be 2 private bathrooms in there.
So have you talked to anyone in the planning department about that, or...?
I've spoken to a couple of architects already. They don't see an issue with the outbuilding because it's existing, so we just have to make sure the foundations and probably rebuild a couple of the walls. And the fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean...
I don't even know where to start with that.
Yeah, what are you going to do with that?
Well, we didn't know it was there.
Yeah.
Obviously, we saw the outside of the building, didn't see in it, so...
It's massive.
Yeah, I don't know. Any suggestions?
Maybe just sell it, maybe.
Well, yeah, we'll try.
Yeah.
It looks pretty old. Might have to give it a scrub.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we'll try and do something with it.
There's a lot of metal there as well.
There's a lot of metal there. Might have to take the wall out to get it out.
Yeah.
Don't know yet, so we'll see.
You're as cold as ice. You're willing to sacrifice our love.
However they do it, transforming this old cold store into a bedroom is going to take a fair amount of cold, hard cash.
So with the cost, you've got options here. So it's either going to be a family rent or it's going to be HMO.
Yeah.
So there's going to be 2 different costs.
Yeah, that's right. So for the family let, we've worked out around 35k that we'll need for the work. That includes all the purchase fees and everything as well. For the student HMO, we've got 50k for that.
What is the timescale to complete this property?
We've allowed ourselves 8 months for this. That includes, again, 3-month planning and approvals, and then about 5 months to do the work. So hopefully, yeah, as long as my brother and dad get on, it should be pretty good. Yeah.
Very good. Well, Matt, look, I wish you all the very best. We look forward to having a look at when the property is finished.
Thanks.
Thank you. Local lad Matt has ambitious plans for this property. This is his 2nd development with his brother. So will they capitalise on the potential or will they come unstuck? You can find out later in the show.
We've already seen how one of our owners got on, but what about the other 2?
Yes, are you ready for the others? Let's have a look.
Back now to the east end of Glasgow and a plot of land with a railway to one side and an industrial estate to the other. So if you were thinking potential housing plot, well...
Oh, it's never gonna happen to me. No, it's never gonna happen to me.
So I think it's going to have to be something a bit more in keeping with its surroundings, which says to me a commercial unit of some sort. But whatever it is, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of elbow grease.
And when Dion said a lot, he meant a lot, as this auction plot included another piece of land on the other side of the railway tracks. In total, it came in at a whopping 2.6 hectares, or about 2.5 football pitches to you and me. And it was forklift engineer and part-time mechanic Judd who decided that at just £10,000, it was too good an opportunity to pass up.
What made you buy this plot of land?
Well, initially I was looking to buy land only because I was self-employed at a point where I was running mobile mechanics, so that was my background. And what I was looking to do was purchase land, build a garage on top of it, and run my own business. If I can get enough units here, I could probably try and keep one for myself and rent the rest out as well and make a bit of extra cash on the side. But till I get planning permission, I'm looking to try and get some revenue out of the land as well. And it would be more storage containers.
OK.
So I'll be looking to try and rent out a few
Clever.
of them. Yeah,
Clever.
It, yeah.
Lot of work to be done.
Yes.
Yes, indeed, there was a lot of work. Clearing the site was the first thing on Judd's agenda, and then he would look to get storage containers in. He thought a budget of 15 to 20,000 should do the job. His timescale, being a part-time project, was fairly open-ended. But I think perhaps he's taken that open-ended bit to the extreme now, as it's 7 years since we last saw the land. So what, after all that time, have we got?
Take a breath, take it step by step, carry on.
Well, I can see that there's some fencing up to start with, but what did he do from the get-go?
I had to dig my way in. Obviously, once I've dug my way in, I then had to excavate most of the plot of land as well. After that, I started to put hardcore type 1 down, which is basically small stones right across the plot of land.
And that was essential to provide a firm surface for vehicles.
With the fencing around the area as well, as you can see from the front, it's secured the plot of land.
Having leased the site out currently for van storage, making it secure was a must. But why did work on the site stop there?
My intentions were to put a structure up where I could potentially start fixing vehicles here. I then had the idea of putting containers down, but looking at the pricing of per container, looking into the logistics side of things, how easy it will be to get these containers into this plot of land as well, based on the fact this is a very busy road. The power was an issue as well, something that we need when you're trying to put security around. You need CCTV, things like that, so that was beyond my budget, let's just say. So I then decided to rent the plot of land to somebody, which worked out fine, so I'm getting a rental yield from that, which I'm quite happy about now. So.
Well, perhaps there is more in store for this land further down the road. But this wasn't the only part of land that Judd acquired for his £10,000. There was another sizable patch over the railway tracks.
Take me to the other side.
Currently, I don't have any other plans for the other side. I think it's more of an investment opportunity. I believe that the kind of, based on what I've seen in the news, the area, it seems to be that there's a lot of development around the area, so that could potentially push up the price of plots of land around the same area, basically.
Yes, with houses not so far away, this overgrown bit of land could be a potential money spinner for Judd in the long run, as it perhaps has the greater chance for planning permission to be granted further down the line than the van site. And so for now, Judd will play the waiting game and hope it's not just the bushes and trees that grow, but his investment does as well. Talking of money, where are things financially for Judd?
Well, probably a region about £5,000 in total with everything, not including the price of the land itself.
A £5,000 spend added to that £10,000 purchase price for the land means Judd has £15,000 invested into this speculative project. So what does an agent from the auction house that originally sold it think of the progress so far?
It's an interesting plot. It certainly has an interesting use with the van storage on it, so securely fenced, which is good.
But what else could you do with it?
I think other than just simply storage, as it's being used for just now, for open-air storage, I feel perhaps a new build, small workshop-type unit, small office accommodation, and maybe porta cabins, or even converted shipping containers.
Well, that's for another day. But what about today and the current value of the land that Judd has invested £15,000 into?
I would say with the limited development for residential as opposed to commercial, I would say the value of the land as it stands just now would be somewhere in the region of £10,000 to £15,000.
Still reasonably impressed in that, but I'm really optimistic that it'll probably increase in value further to that in the next coming couple of years.
The agent also reckons that rental potential as the land stands is around £4,000 to £5,000 a year. But for now, Judd has decided he's happy to receive enough rent just to cover his costs.
I plan to hold on to it obviously longer. I'll try and get as much rent out of the plot, maybe even potentially put containers down and porta cabins, utilise the space more.
So, future thoughts and maybe future projects. But in the near future, Judd has the small matter of a long overdue engagement with his long-term fiancée, Emma.
Just looking forward to getting married this year, so definitely. We're getting married in Croatia, so it's a lot sunnier than today. So that's definitely looking forward to it, yeah.
Well, good luck to you both. And go on, Judd, I think it's time to lock up and get yourself out of the cold.
Grocer Jack.
Back to Rochester and this two-bed end terrace with a guide price of 170 to 180,000. In its day, it was a greengrocer's and it was still holding on to a bit of its past.
And this was the cold storeroom. But it's not fit for purpose these days. It's pretty big, actually. But it got me thinking, could there be potential to create more living space within the property? Perhaps this outbuilding could be made into a bedroom with an ensuite. Lots of creative options here.
Upstairs, there wasn't the most convenient layout.
Into the bathroom. So that means, hold on, you'd have to walk through this bedroom to get into the bathroom. Could the bathroom be moved? Could the layout change up here?
Matt and his brother Andy bought the property for 175,000 and were keeping their options open.
We'll either do a 3-bed, 2-bath family let, or we're looking at doing a HMO for students. So that would be a 4-bed, 4-bath. So, and we'll convert the outbuilding for that.
The brothers had given themselves a budget of 35 to 50,000 and a timescale of 8 months. Now we're back 19 months later to find out what they ended up doing with the place. The lounge is now a hallway and one of the bedrooms in this new 4-bed house of multiple occupancy. Then the back reception room is now a relaxing communal area. The kitchen has been finished in warm tones with contrasting fixtures and tiles. The awkward bathroom that was off the bedroom is now a bedroom, 2 shower rooms and a hallway leading to the front bedroom, which has its own ensuite. The old coal store is now bedroom number 4, with its own private shower room. And the garage at the back of the garden has been transformed into a self-contained studio flat. Matt and Andy are here to tell us how they got on.
Being told that we were allowed to put a kitchenette down there and have that as a self-contained bedsit, that was amazing. So, yeah, it's a lot of money to put all the relevant works in there and make it up to scratch, but it's going to pay for itself. Well, I'm very pleased with the end product. It looks amazing. I think the little extra touches to go the extra mile has, really made a difference, and I think it's going to get snapped up.
Obviously, HMO, we've got a lot of regulations, need to abide by and get up to scratch. Different costs involved as well, and different finishing touches, really. So, yeah, learnt a lot about that side of things.
With delays caused by planning permission and a struggle to get trades and materials, did Andy end up doing most of the work as planned?
Yeah, we're doing the bulk of the work ourselves, but we've obviously had to get trades in to do the specialist things like the plastering and the plumbing and electrics, that sort of thing.
Going from a 2-bed, 1-bath to a 4-bed, 4-bath and a separate bedsit, surely they stretched their £50,000 budget to the limit.
We're sitting at 95 all up, so we had an extra 30k for the bedsit, and then there was 5k for all the furniture and everything like that. So 95k is we're pretty happy with that.
We asked a local estate agent along to get his opinions and valuations.
It's the first time in the property. I have to say overall, I'm very impressed. It looks like they've made maximum use of the space they've got available in order to give them maximum yield if they decide they're going to rent the property. The studio annex is a great example of using a bit of space that really couldn't be used for anything else. It's given us a little self-contained unit, it's added value to the property and it's added rental yield, so it was an excellent choice.
Matt and Andy spent a total of £270,000 on the house, but just how much profit would they make if they chose to sell to an investment buyer?
If you were to sell this property as a HMO, which is a house of multiple occupation, I think you could achieve a price from £350,000 to £375,000.
That's pretty bang on, to be honest. Happy with that?
Yeah, that's our maths is right.
Yes, 350 is basically the lower end of what we had. It's like I'm happy with that break even. But yeah, 375. I mean, we get all our money out of the house, which is that's insane.
That's good.
That's insane.
Roll into the next one.
Yeah.
That top price of £375,000 could net the brothers an impressive pre-tax profit of £105,000. But will that HMO rent bring in top dollar too?
If we were to break it down, if we start with the smaller downstairs room that hasn't got an ensuite, that one would be £550 per calendar month. If we move to the two upstairs bedrooms, they're slightly bigger and one's got an ensuite, one's got a bathroom around the corner, so I think they'll both be the same. They'll be £600 per calendar month. Moving to downstairs, the back of the property, that particular unit has got an ensuite. I would suggest that rent would be £650 per calendar month. Looking at the annex, which is separate from the building at the back of the garden, I think that property could achieve a rent in the region of £700 per calendar month.
So, yeah, that's pretty good for the rooms. I'd say the bedsit, we were hoping for a bit more. I think comparatively with one-bed flats on the market, when you're looking at all bills included on this one, yeah, maybe a bit more for that. But I think in terms of everything else, pretty much bang on the money. So, yeah, not too bad. Yeah. Not too bad.
That could give them a huge 13.7% yield. So has this experience been a positive one for the pair?
I think this has been an amazing investment, if I can be blunt. We took a right chance when we went at auction. I think the price that we got it at meant that, you know, the pressure's off. And to hear the end value of 350, I think, you know, it's everything that we were hoping we could get towards. We put a lot into it, so, yeah.
We're going to get a lot out.
We are going to have a breather and also look for our next one. So we're looking in the area and a bit further afield. But yeah, it's definitely something I want to... I don't think I can go back to sitting behind a desk again.
No, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Join us again soon for more tales from the auction rooms here on Homes Under the Hammer.
Trust us, you won't want to miss it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.